Once a year, the Craigavon Borough Council make their beautiful Lurgan Park available to the North Armagh Motorcycle and Car Club for the Burma Rally. It's a family day out where the action is concentrated into 4 hours with an invited entry of 40 drivers. To say that Lurgan Park is different is an understatement. This is the richest rally of the whole year, and it all takes place in this beautiful Lurgan Park. It brings in thousands of people, and indeed, from time to time, you can meet some very old friends here. Hello, David.
Nice to see you again.
How many times have you been here?
Oh, this is the 3rd time now, and it's nice to come back again. This is a good crack. It's a long way to come for 16 miles, but, you know, it's brilliant to get back.
And old friends like Bertie Fisher, who tell us of the changes in the park. Well, Bertie, what's it like this year?
Well, they have resurfaced all of the tarmac and regraded all of the gravel sections, so it's certainly very, very smooth, and it's obviously not going to make it any slower either, although at all of the junctions and a lot of the corners they have laid out big lorry tyres to stop us from cutting and tearing up the grass, you know. So obviously that's going to slow it down a bit at the junctions. But all in all, it's very good.
Bertie's big rival is, as always, his fellow Subaru user, Jonny Milner, who is an acknowledged Lurgan Park expert, having won this event on 4 other occasions. Ken Colbert is another previous winner, and he's taken part in every Burma rally.
I've been here now about 12 times and always look forward to this event. I think it's a very good event for Northern Ireland Motorsport. It brings the people to the competitors, it puts faces to names, and it's obviously a day out for families and kids and what have you.
As always, the Burma has its very welcome guests. Gwyndaf Evans, I'd love to be able to say former Burma winner, but that wouldn't be strictly true. You're the other Gwyndaf Evans.
Yes, I'm the original one.
This must lead to a lot of confusion.
It does, especially when you ring up buying parts and on the phone and things, and very often mistaken for the other one.
Have you actually been rallying longer than the Ford Works driver?
Oh, yes, yes. I think I've had more birthdays than he's had.
Another guest, Jonny Milner, has replaced the 1600 engine in his Peugeot for a 1900 unit. Willie Singleton carries our second in-car camera. Willie, you're a real park specialist.
That's right. I enjoy the event. I've been here 13 years now, including the day, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a good event from a PR point of view for your sponsors.
Right, it's a very challenging event. You have a lot of activity in a few hours.
That's right. It's a mixed surface of loose and tarmac. The car's good. We have a new engine. There's only 150 stage miles on, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a good challenge.
Now, talking about the challenge, I mean, a bit dangerous out there too, isn't it?
That's right. The trees are very close to the edge on, and there is very little room for error. And if you did slide off, you could connect with the tree. That could result in needing a body shell.
Have you ever done it?
I haven't done it yet, but let's put it like this, there's 7 stages to go.
So the scene is set for 7 high-speed tests, the first 2 in an anti-clockwise direction around the park. Number 1 seed, the Caliber Subaru, driven by Jonny McKinstry and co-driven by Robbie Philpott. The Donegal winners are at number 2, Bertie Fisher and Rory Kennedy in the Toughmac Subaru. And then the Metros, former winner Kenny Colbert and Peter Donnelly in the Stanley Cookers 6R4. They're followed by Andrew Nesbitt and Brian Murphy in their Philip White tyres example. And remember, a Metro won here last year. Kenny is underway. He first won in Lurgan Park back in 1983. These were followed by victories in 85, 87 and 88. But it's 3 years since the Banbridge driver has sprayed the Burma champagne. And after recent disappointments, there's a need for a confidence booster in the Caliber camp. Kenny attacks from the word go, and there's an extra bonus as the safari-like conditions are not helping his pursuers. Kenny and Robbie are 8 seconds up after 2 stages. Bertie Fisher was the victor in Lurgan in the first 2 years of the event, in 1980 and 81. But it's 11 years since the Ballinamallard man has dominated this very special event. but the Subaru could well be the vehicle to bring him back to the winner's rostrum.
Go! Long fast left, fast right. The long fast left. The tarmac K left.
Now for the trip through the trees in Ken Colbert's Metro. Peter Donnelly on the notes.
Fast right. Fast right now, 40, open right. Straight right. Baby, K left. And long fast left over crest.
And here come those trees. And indeed the dust problem.
And tightens. 60, very fast left. And long fast right. Fast left now, trees, 40.
No room for error here. Colbert is third fastest, 3 seconds down in Fisher. And his pursuer, Philip White, is a bit rough on the gearbox here. The Luce is a new experience in the Metro for Andrew, but he's coping well and certainly trying. And now starts a truly heroic performance. Jonny Milner in the 1900 two-wheel drive Peugeot. This mixture of loose and tarmac surfaces are exactly what the ex-rallycross driver has been used to, and I defy anyone to drive a 205 quicker than this. He's 5th overall, just 1 second behind Nesbitt's 6R4, and quicker than David Greer's Sierra Cosworth. Others were in big trouble early on. Eamon McAleenan comes off the start line in his Nissan engine Toyota for what will prove to be a very short rally. Stephen McWhinney's Manta 400 follows him on the road. But why is he braking? McAleenan's well and truly stuck on the tyres and in a very vulnerable position. The Farrell brothers are next to pass. But the Toyota cannot be shifted. And here's another bad start from Gabriel Snow. The resurfacing at Lurgan Park is certainly causing problems. Ian Rock is next on the hit list. He's off the tyres, but he doesn't believe it. Mary Rock is not amused. Talk about rock and roll. Anyway, I'm afraid these two aren't having a rocking good time. But there's worse to come. Having been up all night replacing his engine, Greg McCormick empties it on the first corner. Fortunately, the damage is only superficial, and Greg, who also has his wife on board, is on his way. For better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. Back in the real world, Willie Singleton in the Q Escort is going well in 7th place. David Hogan takes us on a trip through the very fast section towards the end of the stage.
30. Crest 1, left 1, 30, left 4, and left 3, and left 3 tightens, to right 250, left 4 cut.
After 2 stages back in the service area, Kenny McKinstry's co-pilot is understandably elated. Well, Robbie, wherever the advantage is coming, it's coming somewhere. It's an incredible 8 seconds after 2 stages?
8 seconds after 2 runs, yeah. It's been quite interesting going down in through there. Last year we tried to use pace notes, and we decided for this year that in fact the pace notes weren't the answer, that it was better to try and commit it to memory, and I would learn the 3 or 4 points on the course that were really dangerous and we needed to have a particular line on, and that seems to be working okay for us this time.
So you're telling me you're almost redundant?
Absolutely. It's been said before though.
It's high-tech at Toughmac, where Tom's Toshiba is on hand to monitor Fisher's car.
We put a card in during the event, switched on, it records all the channels on the time it's being driven round, and we can check all the data that everything's working correctly when it comes back.
And what sort of things will you find out from that?
Well, you can check that it's running the correct amount of boost, the check revs, water temperature, oil temperature.
So apart from the technical data, it's also the driver can't really give you any excuses, can he?
No, not really. You can certainly see if it misses a gear or it's been put in the wrong gear and it's dropped too far down the revs. Yeah, that's very easy to spot on things like that.
Johnny, you said you'd be quick, but 5th overall in a 1.9 Peugeot?
Well, it's a bit of hard work. I mean, the car, unfortunately, setting off on the loose is a lot of wheel spin, but we're trying to make up a bit on late braking, and we've had every marshal running that I've seen up to now on each square corner.
Do you not like these marshals?
No, they're all right, they're doing a wonderful job.
For stages 3 and 4, everything's the other way round. Kenny McKinstry continues to stamp his authority on the event. His 8-second advantage after 2 stages has grown to 16 after 4. And those happy smiles that had faded in Donegal are returning to the McKinstry clan in Lurgan. Bertie Fisher and Rory Kennedy can do little in reply. The Donegal winners were really travelling, but Bertie wasn't prepared to risk a major upset in his Toshiba-supported car, when his main goal for the year is the Dunlop Tarmac Championship.
Fast right. The fast right continues.
We are now in the high-speed top section with Kenny Colbert.
It's a long, very fast left over the crest, absolute. 40. Downhill, slide right, fast left. Turn, square right.
He and Peter Donnelly are flying, but they can't quite match the pace of the Subarus. This pair, in the car that won in Tony Pond's hands last year, are third, just 6 seconds behind Fisher. Andrew Nesbitt in the other Metro is also trying, and he's 9 seconds behind Colbert. In the two-wheel drive battle, David Greer's got ahead of that amazing little Peugeot. But Milner is still mighty to watch, as the Burma crowds are treated to a free summer speed festival.
I'm under pressure here, way above.
This is the next generation of Maguires.
Aye, the Molly Maguire. So it is.
You're having fun out there?
Yeah. I near cooped on the first run.
Yeah.
So it did. It was very hairy. Some difference in it than tarmac.
Yeah.
So it is. Couldn't believe it. But no matter. It's good old crack.
And red lights not well?
Red lights in hospital.
Yeah.
Turbo.
You may remember Red Light from her Circuit of Ireland coverage. Let's hope his turbo replacement works. And now for the last 3 stages, 3 runs over the final course, which extracts every available inch of Lurgan Park. Kenny McKinstry is looking very good for his 5th Burma Rally win, with that fabulous 2,500 prize for first. Robbie Philpott has just been ballast today as he gets a privileged view of the Banbridge driver's great skill. But there is one last-minute panic when the Subaru gets a puncture on stage 6. Fortunately, they have enough in hand and still come home 14 seconds clear of Bertie Fisher. Dust has undoubtedly been a problem for the following Subaru, but Fisher is noble enough to admit that it was not a handicap that would have made a big enough difference. He has been quite simply outdriven today, although it doesn't show here. So he and Rory Kennedy settle for a very creditable second. And once again the Subarus have proved to be the class of the field, and the large crowds have enjoyed every second of the high-speed display put on by the 2 great Irish superstars. Behind the Metro battle is intense. Colbert is now under pressure from Andrew Nesbitt. It's a rare and very big mistake by the Dungannon driver, but he continues aware that his 3rd place is under threat. The car is basically okay, but the front spoiler is not pretty. And 3rd is his position. Behind Nesbitt is right on the limit. The Armagh driver has very little experience in the loose, and he has only moved into the top level of rallying in the last 2 years. So it's a highly creditable performance as he finishes just 1 second behind Colbert. David Greer tops the 2-wheel drive entry with some spectacular car control. And as in Donegal, Michael Reid is his passenger. Despite some tyre problems, they win their class and take 5th overall. But in many ways, the performance of the day has been from 22-year-old Jonny Milner. He wins his class by 51 seconds, comes 6th overall, and wins the admiration of all at Lurgan Park. Watch out for this man in the future. He'll go far. Stephen Mahoney and Joe Law are front runners in the Northern Ireland Stage Championship, so the Antrim driver feels right at home on the loose surfaces. These pair will end the day 2nd to David Greer in Class 4 and 7th in the overall rankings. Derek McGarity was further back than usual in the ex-Carlos Sainz Cosworth, but 8th overall and 3rd in his class is no disgrace. And for those clubmen, Willie Singleton in his Q-supported Escort, it's a mighty day, but not without its moments.
Puffy, right 3 tightens, and left 3, and left 3, into right 3 long, and left 5 leave here, Puffy, right 5 at gears,
He's been as close as anyone to those dreaded trees. He and David Hogan survived to take an excellent 9th place.
30. Junction right 4. 30. Left 5. Sudden left 8. 50. Well done, 50. Left 1. 300. Finish, that's it, son, hold on. That's it. 205, brilliant. If you beat that, he's entitled.
So Kenny takes his 5th Burma win, and the good times are back in the Colbert camp. Kenny, congratulations.
Thank you very much, Plum.
A bit of a different story from last weekend.
Well, it makes up a bit for last weekend, doesn't it? Really good event. Fairly lucky with punctures that it only cost us a few seconds, but we're really happy.
You did a tremendous first run of the first 2 stages. You really put in a dominant performance there.
Yeah, the first one was actually a wee bit iffy. The second one was a really good run. No mistakes at all, everything 100%. And as I said earlier on, I mean, it's the person who gets away with 7 clean runs is usually going to be the winner. So I suppose we're lucky in a way, but we worked hard at it.
And I heard you made Robbie redundant during the day.
Absolutely.
No pace notes?
No pace notes at all, none whatsoever. But it's the sort of a place that you remembered. I mean, I've done it now probably 6 or 7 years, so if I don't know this place, I shouldn't. No need for them.
It's a much-needed confidence boost before the forthcoming Ulster Rally, the next round of the Tarmac Series, when he will not only have to take on Bertie Fisher in a Subaru, but also Colin McRae. So Subarus 1-2, Metros 3-4, and the Cosworth in 5th place.